Hi, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Ray. I cannot tell you how excited I am to sit down and to be filming this video. If you are new here, you may not know, but a month or two ago, I'm not really exactly sure when, but shortly ago, I made a video about the color catalog books that I made out of Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog. And I posted a video about it and I got a lot of positive feedback, and I am making this video or this intro after I already did the actual video content of this video. So I know that later on in this, I will discuss a little bit more about like how grateful I am for the positive feedback, but I did just want to touch on it briefly real quick that I have loved reading the comments and hearing people say that they felt like they were just listening to a friend, and that they loved the longer style vlogs that I posted after it, and just all the really positive, kind comments. Really, every single time I had a grin ear to ear reading them, and I got so excited. I've been checking it like every other day just to see if anybody has put anything, and it's just really brought me so much joy in reading what people have said. Just knowing that I was just enjoying myself, showing something that I love and I'm passionate about, and that so many people resonated with it and enjoyed it, really makes me so happy. So thank you if you're one of the people that left such a sweet comment. And I'm really excited because I love coloring, but there's nobody really in my life that loves it as much as I do and wants to talk about it all the time. And I love watching people's chatty hauls of their coloring books or of their completed pages. And so this is kind of going to be all in one of kind of like a starting point. I hope to make more coloring content moving forward, but this is just to give an overview of here's the coloring books I have, here's the style I like, and here's the completed pages I have thus far to kind of start me off and show you guys what I like, to see if you're interested in the same type of coloring style. Just so that you have an overview to see if this is something you're interested in. I'm going to try to put the like main coloring books in the thumbnail somehow, or maybe the spines of them, just to give that kind of overview. But I also just want to let anyone know that if you didn't watch my color catalog video, just so you know what kind of coloring I enjoy, I have the 320 set of Ohuhu markers, alcohol markers, and I love drawing or coloring, whoops, my sweatpants. I am only business up top right now. I like coloring cozy things. I know a lot of people like more of the advanced realism, intricate, detailed coloring books. That's not me. I like to escape into a coloring book and feel like I'm transported back into my childhood of just coloring cute little pictures that I can make as detailed as I want to, embellish them, make shadows, or I can just color them in, call it a day, do a bold and easy coloring book. I just like feeling nostalgic and feeling like I'm transported back to my childhood, and it just takes me right back. So that's the kind of style I like. I hope that you find at least one coloring book that you haven't heard of, or that you like, or you're just inspired to color the books you already have. I hope you just really enjoy it. If you like this kind of content, please let me know or give it a thumbs up so that I get a gauge on what kind of things that you like to see. And if you have anything you would like to specifically see, I have a lot of ideas in mind because I'm just really excited. And my goal is to just create stuff that I enjoy watching and stuff that I enjoy making. But if there's anything in particular that anyone watching wants to see, I'd be more than happy to make specific kinds of videos. So if you want to leave a comment and let me know, like I said, it makes me so excited and happy to see what everyone's thinking. And I just feel excited to have a community, no matter how small it is. I'm just excited to have other people that love coloring as much as I do, and that I can chat away to, and that you enjoy listening to my coloring stuff. So I'm just really excited about it. And like I said, I have a lot of ideas. This is very the makeshift situation I have to my left right now of the setup I had for my phone. I touch on it in the video, but I do plan to get an actual tripod, but I'm just playing around right now and just figuring it out. And with that, I hope that you find this video helpful or that it brings you some comfort, and maybe you can even watch it while you have some tea or some coffee, or like I do, you can put it on while you color and just have it on in the background. That's my favorite way to watch these kinds of videos. So I hope you enjoy it. Here is a brief overview of the books in case you want to see if this is going to be something that you're interested in. I'll link in the description timestamps for each book. So if there's a specific one that you are interested in, you can skip right ahead and skip chatting and the other flip throughs. And then lastly, we've got color guides. That's everything. Okay, I've got you propped up very precariously on my cat tree for the time being until I get a tripod. So it does the trick. Hopefully you'll be able to see well, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it because I have many and I wanna do flip throughs. I'm gonna try to keep them brief so that it doesn't take too long. But my favorite type of coloring book collection videos go through a quick flip through so that if there's a specific book I like, I can get a glance of it. And if you want me to go more in depth into any of them, just leave a comment and I'll try to make a separate video of specific flip throughs. First category is cozy. So this one is going to be a little tricky to flip through because it's got a lot that jump back and forth between horizontal and vertical. So just bear with me. I still want to give you the full flip through, but there's going to be a lot of flipping and turning. So this one is Wonderful Little World Volume 3, and it's all about hobbies. So it's little critters that are doing different hobbies. I got this off of Amazon UK. I have 2 that I got off of there. It's Color Ya. They had really good reviews, and it's better than Amazon paper in the United States. So I went ahead, since I was making an order, and ordered a couple of them to try it out. So I'm really happy with the quality and I'm really excited to start coloring these. Right now I'm just mostly focusing on Christmas coloring, so I haven't actually started in these. But I love coloring critters, is something I've found about myself, and I obviously have a lot of hobbies, one of which is coloring. So I was really excited when I found this book. I love cooking, so I really love that last one. Chess, looks like teaching. This looks like by a campfire, maybe music. Teaching again. Like I said, I have to flip and turn it around quite a bit, but music. Gardening, I love this one. Fishing. Mechanics. Looks like floristry. Doing floral stuff. Knitting. Doing makeup. Looks like meditation. Painting. A cat person, a cat lady. Photography maybe. Pottery. Puzzle making or completing a puzzle. Bookstore. Maybe painting again on a turtle. A pirate, maybe? Turns out I don't know, I guess, what some of these are. Swimming or snorkeling. Probably wrong about a couple of them, but just trying to give you an idea. This one looks like sculpting. I didn't see this the first time I flipped through it. Sewing. Yoga. I love this one. I love my yoga. And maybe carpentry, like woodworking. Okay, so that is Wonderful Little World Volume 3 Hobbies. Okay, this next one is The Mystical Lands of Klynnadra. I am the worst at pronunciation, so it's the land of something. In Search of Autumn Secrets. This I thought was really interesting because it is all of her coloring books, from my understanding, she's an author. She makes a map of a world, and then the pictures are in that world. And I wanted a unique autumn coloring book this fall. And so I got this at the end of fall, so I've only done a couple of pages, but I still think it's really beautiful, and I'm excited to color it in some more next year. Each one has a name. This is a page that I did at the end of October. It's most of my books are on Amazon US paper, so not great. I always use a bleed sheet behind them, but I still love the artwork of them, and it just seems like most coloring books that I enjoy and like are that paper. So I have no problem just taking my time and being careful with coloring. Oh, and this is, there's doubles, there's of each page. So just like R.J. Hanson's books. So that is The Mystical Lands of Klynnadra, something like that. This is Matchstick Mouse, specifically a rainy day coloring book. I got this book because I like the, I don't know if it's called motifs. I feel like I've heard that. I don't know. I got this because I love how each one has its own circle. I can do it quicker. You know, before bed, I can just do one really quickly. And I love cozy rainy days in. So I loved this little, getting delivered some food there. This is a little fort that I did. Oh, I love the bird bath one. I love watching the birds in my real bird bath. All right, and then I really sloppily put little scratches of what colors I did because I wanted it to match throughout the book. And it's just, I struggle sometimes with picking the colors. So I like having it figured out for me so I know. So for instance, in both of those pictures, the worm and the mouse are the same. And of course, none of my pictures are perfect, and I have specific things that I don't like about all of them because I'm a perfectionist, but still, I love the process of learning and doing better the next time. I can see kind of the progression of my artwork over time in the coloring books, which is kind of cool. And I only started less than a year ago, so I'm happy with how far I've come. And then this is Romantic Country, and it's a fantasy coloring book by Erie. There's so many things I'm going to mispronounce. But this book is really cool. It's the only one I have that is double-sided because it was one of the first coloring books I got. And I didn't really think about coloring with alcohol markers on a double-sided book until I got this one. But I really like the backstory to it. And I think it's really cool that if you read all this, you'll see that the artist did all of the drawings with a toothpick. So I really liked the aesthetic of the book. And again, I really like when there's a map in the front. It makes it feel like you're lost in a world, like a story, and you're making it your own. And it has chapters. I really love this book, but I hate that it is double-sided. And it's kind of held me back from working in it because it's so, first of all, it's so beautiful, so it's intimidating for me. I don't want to mess the pages up. But also, it bleeds to the other side, so I have to sacrifice a picture in order to do a different picture. I love this, different cat breeds and dog breeds. I love the variety of this, and that there's chapters. I love that some of them are just, you know, now here's a page I sacrificed because what I was going to say is I like how there's pages with like you saw a moment ago, the clothes, and then this one's like specimen box of the forest. So I also love how the alcohol markers come up on this page, the way that they show up. I really love it. Now this page is probably my least favorite page I've ever done. It was the first one I've ever done, and actually I believe it's the only one I've ever done in colored pencils, and I really don't like it. I don't like how this feels more warm to me, and the colors in here feel more cool. It feels like it clashes, and I don't like the streak marks of the colored pencils. Now I have cheap Amazon colored pencils, so I don't know if I got like nicer like Prismacolor ones, if I might feel differently. I love looking at other people's flip throughs of completed pages when they color with colored pencils, because I love the finished look of it and how detailed it is. And it's really like, I can't think of the right word, but it's amazing to me to look at other people's pages with colored pencils, because it's almost gives you the feeling of like looking at looking at mountains or looking at something in nature that blows you away. When people color with colored pencils, the effects that they can do and almost the realism too that they can create from it is really beautiful. But I'm just an alcohol markers person, because I just realized I put 1 out of 10 hate this. Yeah, that's accurate. Just really don't like this page. But like I said, it's a learning experience, and hey, I didn't lose this side of the page. But I even went back and tried. I was proud of myself because I started it, hated it, and then came back a few months later and finished it just for the sake of finishing it. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the outside that throws me off. Like, I don't mind this as much, but even then the streakiness, and I could go on about this page all day, but yeah, I don't like it. But I just love the artwork. There's a page soon with flowers. Yeah, this one. Love that page. And I just love the breakdowns here. This bookstore page is where I saw it. I did a color with me. I watched a color with me that someone did that page. It's got a couple seasonal pages, which I always love when those are thrown into a book. This Merry Christmas one. Oh, I also saw someone do this page, and it was beautiful. Flipping through it is making me another Christmas one. Remember how much I love the artwork, but like I said, since it's double-sided, it also has a breakdown and little thumbnails of the drawings, which I love, and it gives information about it, or, not real information, but like a storyline for each picture. And then in the back here, it has a little poster where you can pop out and play with the characters. So it's a very unique coloring book. I took off the dust jacket, but this is a very unique one. Next, we have Daydreams by Gabby Wolf. I just wanted to get a book from Gabby Wolf so I would remember to order from her other books as well. I haven't actually colored any in here, but at the start of Christmas, I was like, I keep forgetting about her artwork, and I think it's really cute and unique. I love coloring in houses and like R.J. Hanson's books, so I like that this had some of those. Like I said, I just really liked her artwork, and I wanted to get one of her smaller, cheaper ones just to have as a reminder that, to start coloring her artwork, but also as a reminder to look at her other ones and order some more. This kind of reminds me of like the Pocket World book by, I can't remember who, a lot of people do the little Polly Pocket type books, but I like that. So I just feel like this is a mix of a lot of different types of artwork. Color test page. So that is Gabby Wolf's Daydreams. Next, this is the first coloring book I ever had, actually. Last year for Christmas, when my husband got me my Ohuhu markers, I asked for a Bobbie Goods coloring book to go with them, and he got this for me and got it within they sold out within like an hour, I think. So this one is another one that I'm intimidated by because it's the most expensive coloring book I have. At the time when I got it, they sell out so fast that, I didn't want to ruin it. And there's not that many drawings. I think there's like 20 or 22. I can't remember. No, it was $22, but it might be 20 drawings. I'm not sure. But these are all the drawings. This page, I hated it, but I was proud of myself for coming back and adjusting it. This was really streaky, this background color. And I went through and went over it and added some more ink, and it helped some. But I'm sure everyone's probably seen Bobbie Goods artwork, and there's plenty of flip throughs online of these. The pages are perforated, Again, I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but yeah, I love these. The other reason I'm intimidated is because I follow Bobbie Goods on Instagram, and I love looking at the stories of how different people do these pages, and they're so advanced, and sometimes I get discouraged that mine don't look that way. Like, I can think of so many different ones I saw on Instagram of this page in particular that were so creative, and I just get discouraged because I want to jump ahead and be that good immediately. But practice makes perfect. And at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy with the artwork and it made me happy doing it, then that's the whole purpose. So I did have one page in here that is torn out. I gave it to my niece because I wasn't crazy about it. It was that first one that I had colored. It was Afternoon Tea, and it was really cute. But unfortunately, I don't have it to show you. This is Nice Little Town by Tanya Bogema. This one, when I first got it, I was really disappointed because how thin the lines were. But then I colored this page, and I really loved this page. Now when I look at it, I know it's not perfect and it's a little bit cluttered because of my color choices, but it was the first page I did that took me days. And I stuck to it, and I did shading with colored pencils, and I really took my time. And it was the first one that I really felt like I was escaping into this world. Like I could imagine being in here. And I loved the way that these fireflies turned out and the jars. And then I liked the color choices of these beads. And I just really liked the way that it turned out. And it was one of the most like fulfilling pages I've done. So it made me, I had to take a long time because the ink would bleed a little bit and the lines are so thin. So this, like I said, took me days, but it was so worth it because I put more work into it. It made it feel extra special. Again, there's another page in here though that I made a mistake and it was not working out, and I tried to fix it and it was just getting worse and worse. So that page is not in here. Here's another page that I did. I really like this one too. Again, very rewarding to do. Not perfect. I'm still trying to figure out how to do lights. I've been playing around with different techniques. You'll probably see in some of my other books. And then this is about half of the book is illustrations from her other books. And it has like the covers, I think, of them. And I have marked here a Christmas one. That is Little Town, Nice Little Town 5. This is Fancy Tiny Homes by R.J. Hampson. He is, I think I said Hanson earlier and it's Hampson, but he is maybe my favorite artist. And my husband loves looking at when I do pages in these books too. They're his favorite. This one, again, I was trying to play around with colored pencil. I definitely think that this did better. However, I don't really like the mixed media of the background. I thought maybe it would look textured like the night sky, but I'm not really jiving with it. And then the horses, the color of the horses with the color of this, just color choices. It's so tricky. And then I have a hard time when I look at a picture. I just look at what I wish was different. But I'm always glad I stuck with it. I'm always glad I finished my pages. And again, I like seeing the journey. I love this one. I played around on the sky and the water here. I used my colorless blender to create an effect like this. And I really like this page. I think part of the reason I love these R.J. Hampson books, and each one of them has a name as well, which I love. But I think part of the reason I love them is they have a good amount of shading to where if I don't do colored pencils, it pops and it looks realistic anyway because of the shading, and it helps me know where to shade too. So it's kind of a great beginner book. Here's a safari page that I did. I have some crepe myrtles in front of my house, and this is one of my favorite pages. Again, I love like cozy nooks with critters. This is like a perfect page to me. I have some crepe myrtles in front of my house, and I have like these swarm of I love this book. Elephants are my favorite animals. I mean, excuse me, this page. And I love the idea of elephants on a bouncy castle house. I get so excited when I flip through his books. There's so many pages I want to do. All of his pages I could say I love. And then there's a second set of pages. If you don't know how his books are, there's a second set and there's minor changes. A lot of them are nighttime, or maybe all of them. Maybe all of them. But they also have different changes. Like you can see here the way this looks versus looks different. But I have some crepe myrtles in front of my house, and I get these huge flocks of birds that stay in them and in the shrubs outside my house. Dozens of these birds. And so they, around this time of day, every day, go out there, and I love it. But apologies if that gets annoying. Okay. My other R.J. Hampson book is called Forest Song. I don't know if I've done one in here yet. I think I prefer the images in the last book, but I still really have many that I would like in this one. Oh, excuse me, I did do this one. A river runs through it. Yeah, I did really like the way this turned out. This was when I started planning out my pictures. I wonder if I'll show you. Or, excuse me, my color choices. I have swatch sheets, and here you can see where I had drawn little sketches of the different parts of the drawing, and then I played around with the different colors before actually putting them on here because I really liked this page and I didn't want to mess it up. And so this is when I started doing this, and after that I started planning out all of my pictures before coloring them, and it made a really huge difference in how I liked the page after. So I really love this page. Again, it's not perfect, but I really enjoy it. Or it's satisfying to look at. It's a winter page. I marked as winter for me to remember. It's just so satisfying to look at completed pages. It's one of my favorite videos to watch. I will just watch people flip through their completed pages. And like I said, no matter what medium, I love looking at it. I'm not super into like fantasy, so that's why this one, I think there's some characters and stuff and dragons. I'm not super into that. So I think that's why I'm drawn towards his other one. And then, of course, there's a second set in here with minor differences. That is R.J. Hampson's Forest Song. And then we have Color Me Capybaras. This book was a pleasant surprise because I thought it was just going to be on regular Amazon paper like the rest of these with the same type of cover, but it's a pretty, compared to the others, it's a thicker book, and the cover, as you can see, is like glossy. It's very different than the other Amazon covers. It's thicker, and then the pages themselves are not as thick as the Color Ya books, but they are thicker, and the alcohol markers go on this beautifully. So, and I love capybaras. I have guinea pigs, and so obviously I think these guys are adorable, and so I love this book. These are marking the different winter pages. You know, in some of books with alcohol markers, when you're coloring, it can be frustrating because you can keep it within the lines, but it can still bleed beyond that line. This book is much better than the other ones at that. This is a fall page that I have. Again, this is one that I look at because I planned out the colors and everything. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love this. It makes me feel like I'm transported into fall. I just think it's so cute. This has such a variety. I love watching on YouTube The Coloring Chemist, and this, I always think of her when I look at that. There's a lot of like replicas of famous paintings. I mean, not replicas, but like play on that. Here's a book I did. It's on an alligator. This is actually the first one I did in this book. I really was playing around with blending with the alcohol markers on this one, and I think it turned out like a cool effect with the water. I was trying to think of, you know, a lot of times with the banks of water, it's more muddy and, you know, it's more blue and clear in the center. So I was kind of playing around with that and thinking, you know, he's kind of stirring up the mud. And so I was really happy with this. Sorry, it's getting harder to flip this one as we go further down into it. I've been in a little bit, because I've been so into Christmas and I haven't had as much time to color, it's kind of sent me into a coloring slump. And flipping through these books is bringing back my excitement. Like, all I want to do is color. Okay, and then I tested out colors back here. But that is Color Me Capybaras, a captivating coloring book. I'm not sure who the artist is, but it's Cider Mill Press, and they have multiple books. Speaking of a reading slump, I'll just say real quick, this I have been doing for the month of December. There's bleed sheets behind this, but I found this online by Printables for Mom, and I've really been enjoying it. And I am a few days behind. As I'm filming this, it is the 14th, I want to say. Yep, it's the 14th. So I need to go up to this 11 right here, but I've really been enjoying this. And again, it's like my color palette's already been chose for me because I have been using the same colors. So it's just really therapeutic to do each night before bed. So that's really the only coloring I've been doing though in December, because I've been staying busy with doing other things. But I'm glad I've at least been doing this. But the holidays can just be a little bit crazy sometimes, and I got into a slump. But this is re-exciting my coloring love, making this. All right, we're almost done with the cozy category. This is Crittersville. This is a new one. Again, I haven't done any in this either. The lines are thinner and they're not super black. They're a little bit gray. This is Monkeys Sliding. This is similar to the Hobbies book. But it's critters, and typically family of critters doing daily life things. And I've just found that is what I love coloring. It really makes me so happy coloring little animals, because I'm not crazy about coloring people, and I love animals, and they are extra cute. And doing day-to-day life things, it is just, and it feels like I'm escaping into a little world. Look at these chickens cooking a cake and baking together. I mean, this book, it's pretty thin. It's the thinnest book I have. Little bookstore. A little birthday party of woodland creatures. Get out of town. This is so cute. Hot air balloons. And this one I like. Each hot air balloon has a different like little family, like the bears and the bunnies. Elephant and a rhino, I guess. Sharks playing chess. Little bunny ballerina. Penguins. Skateboarding. There we go. That is Crittersville. Now, who is this? Okay. I'm not sure. There's like no... I don't know if this is one of those type of books that's like... I've heard that there's some on Amazon that are like AI created and not real. I'm not sure. All I know is this is really cute. There's all the information that I have. This one is Girl Moments. I grew up with two sisters and I don't have any brothers. So there's something now that I've gotten older that's quite nostalgic to me about girlhood and growing up and painting your nails and doing your hair, braiding and dress up. Just different things that you do growing up as a girl. I've been really feeling a lot of comfort in. So this is Cute and Comfy Coloring Book by Coco Wyo. I love Coco Wyo's books. And this was one of my first books that I got of the like Bold and Easy books on Amazon that are square. And I know that they're all over TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I see the videos and I know that they're really, when you're searching on Amazon, I know they're really popular. especially with alcohol markers, because you don't have to worry about them bleeding. And I didn't get it until I got these books. There's another one that's Christmas that I've been doing. And I did forget about that one. I've done a good amount of Christmas coloring in that other book. But anyway, you know what these are good for me is when I'm riding in the car, I use my Ohuhu markers because I have the big set, so it makes a pretty good lap desk. I use that as a desk, and then I color as whoever's driving, and it doesn't, I'm typically get motion sick. I don't get that motion sick when I do that. And it's easy to stay in the lines because they're so bold. But here's a page I did in the car. And again, I'm sorry I sound like a broken record and it kind of ruins it by me pointing out what I don't like. But I just, it's my personality, I like obsess over the things that I wish I did differently. But this one, I can't put my finger on why I'm not crazy about it, but I think it's just a little busy. I wish I kind of would have stuck to a simpler color palette, but sometimes I get excited about coloring everything different colors. So again, I enjoyed it, so that's all that matters. But this is a mom and daughter cooking. It looks like Christmas cookies. I don't know what's going on here. Some kind of pumpkin roll or something, I'm not sure. And then I colored this cat to kind of look like my cat, but the color didn't turn out like I was hoping. But these are really great to color in driving because you don't have to worry about coloring it or going out of the lines as much when you go over a bump or something. This is a Christmas page that I did. This book had not come out yet, and so it was a teaser to this. And I copied this. This is, I think, the only page that I've ever done where I copied the like artist version. So on their Instagram, I copied it, and that was really actually enjoyable because again, I didn't have to pick colors, so it made it enjoyable, and I made it a little bit like my own. Anyway, that's that page. That's Girl Moments by Coco Wyo. This is Cozy Spaces, also by Coco Wyo. I think this is the book that I've done the most pages in. This was one of my very first coloring books as well, and it's, as we discussed, little cozy. I love seeing different people's homes and cozy places, and this is that, but with little cozy animals, kind of similar to Bobbie Good's artwork. So again, this is the exact kind of art that I love coloring. This is, I want to say, other than Bobbie Good's, this was the first page that I did in another coloring book, maybe. I know it's the first page I did in here. This was one where the back was very streaky. It was the first time I had colored in a big space with alcohol markers, and I wasn't sure how to navigate that without making streaks. And I went back months later and realized, I saw someone in a video say that like paper can only hold so much of an ink. So if you fill it up to like the darkest that it would go, it can't have streaks because it's all the same amount. I'm not explaining that in the way that the person that I watched said it, but it's true that when I went back over it and I filled it with ink, it doesn't make streaks. It's a waste of ink, but it did the trick for fixing my streaks. Here's another one I did. I messed up on these, and I ended up doing black. I didn't like the color choices of the back paper, and it was looking cluttered, so then I tried to keep it consistent by doing black. But I did a little Hufflepuff scarf on this fox. And this was when I was still playing around with like trying to pick a color palette. I have some Christmas ones done here. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages. I've never been super into Halloween. To me, I'm just, ready for Christmas when Halloween comes around. I love seeing other people celebrate it and enjoy it, but it's just not been my favorite. However, doing this one and the other page I showed earlier in that very first coloring book I showed, actually, the Mystical Lands of Something or Another, I did those two in October, and I really love this one. It was another one where I've really been trying to learn how to adjust my mistakes and make up for them. So this one, I had like different colored labels on each of these. And again, it was looking busy. And so I decided to, I think even these jars were different colors, and I colored them darker colors to cover them up. and tried to keep it consistent with like green, gray, and purple. And then I colored with white, like the Jelly Roll pen, over the label with little, and then used my fine liner to draw little squiggles of like writing. And I think it really made these little bottles pop, and I was able to turn it around, and that was a really satisfying feeling that I hated it, and then I made it into something that I liked. And I just love the darkness, and I thought the moon turned out cool. I used the alcohol blender to kind of pick up some of that ink. And I really loved the hat. And then I really liked that I played around with using the fluorescent yellow in my Ohuhu set to kind of make this look like it was glowing like a potion. So I was just really happy with this one. I love that this matches the hat. And yeah, again, this was one where I was starting to learn that pages looked better with less color, with a color palette. So this one is very satisfying for me to look at. I also did make another mistake of the window. I colored, what was it that I colored the window in? Oh, I colored it in yellow because I was thinking like light shining through a window of a house being yellow. And then I realized, it dawned on me, I was too focused on that and I didn't take a step back and think about, oh, that's going to outside. So then I colored over the yellow with this blue, and then I colored the blue darker here and like faded it out so that would kind of look more like the same color. So anyway, I think I've worked with the mistakes on this page, and for that reason, it's satisfying to look at. Here's another one that I did. I made another mistake on these clouds. I can't remember what it was that went wrong, but I ended up using a Jelly Roll pen and kind of creating a texture and swirling. So these are ones that I've done not more recently. I did them months ago, but later in my coloring journey, and I love this page. And I've just been working on trying to work with my mistakes. My husband and I, we went to see some Christmas lights the other night, and we were in the trunk of my dad's car, and we were back there with my niece, and it was amazing. But my husband and I at the same time saw the most beautiful shooting star I've ever seen. And it was the first time I'd seen a shooting star in probably years. And it was a magical moment. And this just made me think of it. This is quite a bit of drawings. Forgot how full this one was. Okay, that is Cozy Spaces by Coco Wyo. Okay, that's all for the cozy category, although my other books, as you'll see, could probably fall into that. So next, I'm just going to go into the seasonal books, the seasonal coloring books. This is Creative Haven. I want to say this is the only Creative Haven coloring book I have. I know these are really loved by a lot of people. I know they're very cheap. They're typically like $4 or $5, sometimes $6, but they're quite cheap. You can find them in Michael's, I believe, and obviously Amazon. And so, sorry if you can hear my cat snoozing. He's curled up beside me and his breathing's kind of heavy. But anyway, this one is Winter Wonderland. And again, one of my first coloring books. But what I was going to say about Creative Haven, the other ones I've seen people color, I did like. For me personally, this one in particular, I'm not sure if they're all like this, but the drawing looked a little bit, the artwork looks a little bit busy. My cat has a cleft palate, and so he has a hole under his nose where like his breathing comes out, so his little noises are just funny right now. Anyway, this page, again, it's another example of a page that I really don't like, but you can kind of see the artwork in these is quite, like the little faces, it's like, detailed isn't the right word because it's actually not that detailed, but it's just cluttered, for lack of a better word. And so it's kind of hard to decipher in certain areas what you're coloring. And this one, like I said, there's many mistakes. The brick kind of bled over here and I had to color over it with white, and then the white picked up the red, and so it's, you know, the snow doesn't look as snowy. Color choices I wasn't crazy about. Again, this was one of my first pages, but the house bricks are way too red. Those should be darker. I could go back and change that. I guess that's kind of the main thing I don't like about this is that. And then this looking back, this is an example where I think this should have probably been snow piled up, and I thought it was shrubbery when I was first doing it. But sometimes when you're doing a picture, you get so sucked in, like the last one I showed, or the last one where the windows I had done yellow. It's hard. You kind of have to zoom out and see what am I coloring exactly. Another example of a page I did. But see, it's just like, it doesn't pop out at you. And perhaps that's because this is before I started doing shading and highlighting. But I think it's partly because of the artwork itself. I do love this toy store photo. I need to put a little bookmark on that. I don't know. You see what I mean. I sound like a broken record here, but I'm just not crazy about the artwork. But I've seen other people, I like this page and this one. I've seen other people coloring Haven books, and they weren't quite like this. So I love this too. I need to put a bookmark. Even though the artwork style is not my favorite, I love just malls and toy stores make me feel so festive. That's pretty. Love, you know, I love my bird feeders. I love that. Okay. So that is Winter Wonderland by Creative Haven. This is the other book that I was showing, that I was talking about, that I've done a good amount of Christmas coloring in actually this season. Cozy Christmas Patterns Coloring Book by Jeanette Veronica. And this is another one I did while I was driving, mostly when my husband and I were going out of town. And it's just so fun to do while you're driving. And these also, I can see why people love them. They're so satisfying because they're quick and easy to do, and you're not as worried about going out of the lines. There's less spaces to have to pick colors for, and it's just, the alcohol markers don't bleed out of there. It's just really fun to do. This is another example of one where I tried to fix my mistake. You can see here the colors I picked originally, garbage with these lights. So I then used cardstock and made these simple. Since the lights pop, I just did simple cardstock on these. I really like the way that the lights turned out, actually. I think they're kind of cool. But yeah, it's another example of one where it's nice to look at because I know that I made a mistake and I made it better than it was. I made it better than this, so. Patterns are satisfying as well because you can just do the same thing. These bells, I wish I maybe would have done more of a golden color. But you can just repeat the same colors and not have to choose with patterns. So I love that. I'm hoping to make some cookies like this with royal icing for Christmas. And I got little goodie bags to give people with their gifts. And I'm hoping to make a video about that if I can get around to it. It's sneaking up on me fast, but I want them to be fresh, so I'm going to do it right at Christmas. So I'm hoping to do that. It might be a disaster, but either way, I think I'm going to film it and try to do that. No promises, but it's the goal. I love this page. Oh, that's another example of one where I took inspo from this. Did slightly different. The pine cones specifically are not quite the same brown, but this one I think I did kind of roughly off some of the inspo on the front here. I want to do it more, kind of reminds me of like early 2000s color palette. Hot chocolate. See, this would be a very satisfying one. You pick one color and then you just repeat it. I mean, one color palette, excuse me. Should have freshly done my nails for this. I did these green ones about a week and a half ago maybe, so I'm getting a little bit, they're growing out. But this one is Country Seasons, 100 Amazing Coloring Pages by Ava Brown, and I love this book. I saw someone recommend it, and flip throughs of all their coloring books, and I knew I wanted it. It's the only book that I have that is 100 pages. Most of them are 50 or less. And so it's much thicker, and it's got 25 for each season. And I love the artwork. I love the variety. And so I just really recommend this book. It's going to be one that I'm going to have to flip sideways because it goes back and forth. It looks like this might be spring. Some of them are more detailed than others. It is a little bit similar to Creative Haven, but I just feel like it has a little bit more detail and it's a little bit clearer what you're looking at. Flower Shop. Tried to put tabs that go between the different seasons, but some of them are hard. Some of them could, you know, flip between seasons, especially the spring and summer ones. Gardening. So this is a good example of a variety. This aerial shot. There's another one during fall that has like a harvest. And then each one, I believe, has a wreath, kind of a wreath on like a door. This one, I'm not sure if it's like a wreath because you're kind of like looking out, unless that's like a picture, I'm not sure. But that's an example of like the variety as well. I just love books that give you a good mix for whatever you're in the mood for. I don't remember seeing this one. Are those poppies? I love poppies. Okay, now here I kind of marked possibly this is the switch to summer. The line work is thicker in some area. In some, like this is very thick compared to the other ones. Veggies, aerial view, chickens. Bird bath photos in my books. Farm produce. Lemonade. I have some, I got this like in the fall, so I do have some towards the end of this book completed. Somewhere along the way we switched to fall before I caught it. This reminds me of that floral spread in the Toothpick Country Farm book. Here's an example of the wreath. Gosh, I'm struggling to say that word. That I did, and I did the winter version in here as well. This one is a little like scarecrow or slash ragdoll. Anyway. Here's one I did. I actually showed this one in my color catalog video that I had just started it. It's another one where I worked with the mistake. These lines were really confusing to know where like all of this is bunched up. And so it was hard to know what colors to do where. And it's still not right. But what I ended up doing, because some of them bled out, and that's very red, and that's a, you know, obviously like a beige, so it would easily bleed there. And it was just getting to be, I was rushing a little bit with it. So I ended up doing these black lines to kind of make it look a little bit more like a sketched plaid. It's a little sketchy and the lines aren't perfect. And I think it kind of worked out. It looked better. It looks better now than it did before. So I'm happy with that. I'm glad I did, you know, the same color pillow. It kind of looks like it goes. But however, I'm not crazy about this dark green right here. My eyes, that again feels cluttered to me. But I think if I would have done it light colored, it wouldn't look great either. I think I'm just not a huge fan of that greenery there. It just kind of looks like it's in the way. If I had taken that out and it was just pumpkins and the curtains here and the chair, I think this might look a little bit better. But yeah, just that within the leaves on the curtains, there's a lot happening right here, and I wish that that wasn't there. But I tried to do dark so it would blend in like a little bit, but I don't know. Now this is winter. There's multiple pages in here that I would love to do. I love the like doorway entryway, like the way people decorate their porch. I love seeing that and coming up with it in the different coloring books. Here's my Christmas one. Again, I have to give you my debrief on the picture. I think it was BG2, I want to say, that I used. This green, I like it for these holly leaves, and I was trying to pull it in with this ribbon, but that green with the green of the wreath, this, I just am not loving. But I think the fact that I stuck with it and did it throughout, it pulled it together more than like if it was just this ribbon, so to speak. But, you know, it's satisfying to see a completed drawing no matter what, or a completed picture colored in. But that's one thing about this one that, you know, I was still sticking with the color palette, happy about that. But the color palette I chose, not so sure about. The fireplace. Merry Christmas. I love this one. There's so many good coloring Christmas photos that I'd love to do, but the season just gets busy and then it's hard, but I can do them for years to come. I love seeing people's Christmas bedding, so again, I love that that's in here. This is kind of another almost doorway, not quite, but little joy. I just love that each season has a different version of kind of the same picture. There's a fall one like this with a rocking chair and it says fall on the porch, and I love that. We're almost to the end of this one. I used to collect snow globes as a little girl, so I love snow globes, and like I mentioned in my like decorating for Christmas vlog, I love snowmen, so I really like that image. Country Seasons by Ava Brown. This is Christmas coloring book, In His Name and For His Glory by Carla Designs. I'm not sure how to say her last name, but my faith is really important to me. And this book, you know, I wanted a Christmas book that was centered around the reason for the season. And so I really like this one. I love it because it's very nostalgic. It makes me feel nostalgic. I love this artwork. Again, it feels like early 2000s, like something that I have on a mug that I grew up with that's in my kitchen as we speak. I had my tea out of it this morning. This is the same type of artwork. And I had just been working on a page in here, so that's why it's a little bit backwards. But I love the scriptures, and I love this, the like zoom in on the ornaments. I also love, like I said, the artwork, but it has a lot of like classic Christmas songs. This is the page I was working on. Like, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn king. This one's really cool. It's got the nativity and then the Bible, and then his name is called the Word of God with a little T here. Oh, come all ye faithful, for example. It's just got like, let heaven and nature sing. Like that. I like the scripture and the mix of these old songs. This, I love. This mug, I based it off of a mug that I had when I was younger. Again, it gave me that nostalgic feeling, and I like the way that turned out. I like the way this greenery turned out. However, and I liked the way the cookies turned out, but I overshaded underneath them, and now it just looks like they're like dirt. There's dirt underneath them. I don't know. It just, that to me, I'm not crazy about. Again, I just love the views of like doorways and like coloring in someone's potential doorway decorations. I mean, I know it's fictional, but I like that. Okay. And it has double of each drawing. So that's Christmas Coloring Book, In His Name and For His Glory by Carla Designs. Now this is, again, another example of one of the first coloring books I got. My husband and I went on a date night, and I wanted a nostalgic feeling similar to that last kind of artwork. Makes me think of like early 2000s. And this was at Michael's, and it's Nature's Sweet Moments by Jane Madej. And this one is one of the worst, like when you're coloring in, it goes beyond the line with your alcohol markers. It's one of the worst books for that. So for that reason, it's pretty unsatisfying to color in, because you have to really take your time and stay really far away from that line. And I don't really like because I was playing around with it, and it's one of my first coloring books. The pages I'm not super crazy about, which is all together made this book kind of unmotivating for me to do. But like when I color with my niece, this is one of the first books I take because the pictures are cute, and she uses like super tips, so she doesn't have to worry about them bleeding. So I keep it to color with her, and sometimes I'll do them to kind of make up for the pages I don't like. This one I played around with some watercolor pens that I had, and some shading and using different colors. This is actually the first page I used colored pencils to shade with, now that I'm thinking about it. The pages are quite thick, but there's something about it. It's like it's almost so smooth that the alcohol just, the markers just keep going. But here's a page I did with a mouse. I was playing around with the fur. But, I don't remember what I was about to say. But I hate this one, but finished it several weeks later just to finish it. Exactly what that says. The colors were a lot, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. Once I finished it, I kept this. Even though the marker bled, you can see how badly it bleeds. I kind of thought it looked cool with the vase, and it helped the flowers pop. So I kept that neutral. The cover. This is one, again, that I hate. You can just, it just bled so bad. This blackberry's too dark. I enjoyed, though, this is an example of one where I just picked up greens and I didn't look at them, and I just colored this in, and that was the first time I'd done that, and it was really satisfying. So now I do that with like mandalas. I never say that right. This page I do like. It's my favorite one in here. My sister picked the red. I like to sometimes let someone in my family pick a color and then put who picked it. And this one, I really liked the way his fur turned out. It took me a while, but I liked the way it worked out. I learned from the last one to not make the blackberries so dark. And yeah, I really enjoyed coloring in this bear. Another bird bath. Come to the Garden. Farmer's Market. I like this page. Wish I maybe need to go back and do some shading, but I can do that another time. There's lots of birds. This one I did with crayons on a road trip, just messing around. And yeah, that one was just kind of to be silly and just enjoy crayons. Same thing with this one, crayons. Which they obviously turned out like garbage. I mean, some people can do some cool things with crayons. I, however, cannot. But Nature's Sweet Moments by Jane Madej. And then we've got Joy for the Journey. This is another Christian coloring book, and it was my first one that is spiral at the top, which reminds me of like Blue's Clues, again, like a little kid. There's Nothing Above God's Love. This one, I did my husband's favorite bird, Eastern Bluebird, as inspiration. I took a risk doing a really bright purple here, and again, I played around with the blending, and I think it turned out nice. I like this book because, as you can see, I kind of had fun going out of the lines and making it sketchy just because of the look of the art. And again, it gave me a very nostalgic feeling, and it was fun to color because it didn't have to be perfect, because it's just kind of how the art goes. This is an example of a mistake. These birds I colored a really light gray, and then I did a darker gray, and then I did red on the feathers, and it didn't look right, so then I had to color the whole thing red. Now they just look kind of weird, but that's okay. Also lots of hot air balloons. I like this one. This one has a good amount of pages too. This is also one that I love doing like before bed. I like really reading the scripture and meditating on it before I go to sleep. It's a great way to like really focus on a specific verse when I'm, you know, feeling stressed or almost there. Oh, this one's also cool because it has little cards you can give. I forgot about this. Bookmarks, tags, gift tags. So that's really cute. So that is Joy for the Journey by Emily Weeks. Emily Weeks, yeah. This is Devotion Through Color, Bible verse coloring book for teen and adults. This one, the artwork is so beautiful. It's that like cozy looking, I don't know how to explain it. Again, it has a good variety, but it's got that cozy, gosh, I don't know how to explain it, but it's got a very specific, you know, this is my type of artwork. It's kind of like those cozy, bold, and easy books, except it's got scriptures and it's not square. I don't think I've done any pages in this one yet. Some of these, like I said, I got right before Christmas, and so I wanted to use the season to my advantage, but I am excited to color some in here. It's on, just like most of these, regular Amazon paper. The last one I showed was not. It's a hard, that Spiral Christian book was hardback with thicker paper. So that is Devotion Through Color. I don't know who the artist is for this, but if you search this on Amazon, almost all these books are from Amazon. You can find that. This one's The Vegetable Lover by Jen Racine. I'm not sure. I think this is the one that did the like modern cottage core, like how to pronounce it, like the German word. I think it's German. I'm not sure. The Heilig or whatever, that's all about like rest and being cozy. I think she's the one that did one of those books that got popular. I could be wrong about that. But, oh yeah, here we go. Heidi, that's what I was talking about. And then the Modern Cottage. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, she has a lot of cute ones. But I love vegetables. And this was really cool. It's got little fun facts about each and the different types. I love cooking. And I didn't even know there were so many types of some of these. So I really liked this, and I thought it was a nice way of doing, like, you know, I can do a carrot at a time or a corn cob at a time. And so I thought it was a good way to do like a quick thing before bed and still feel satisfied. So I will say I got this one a while back and I don't feel drawn to it. And I'm sure many people might be watching this and thinking, yeah, it's vegetables. But it excites me to flip through, but as far as picking it up to color, it's not my go-to. But I still like having it, and, you know, I'll show you at the end here. I did some tomatoes. Oops. This I just looked up and colored in. The ink was like, got too wet right here and it started ripping a hole in the page. So then again, I tried to work with my mistake and I put like some paper taped over it right there so it's less noticeable, but still have that mistake, and then the different tomatoes. But it is really fun and satisfying to color in, but it's just when I have all these other books, it's not the first one I grab, but I still love having it. So vegetable lover. This is 44 doodles to color. I wanted, again, I like having a book where I can pick it up and just color a small thing here and there. Who's this by? Joyful Art Journaling. This one is much thinner than I was expecting, and I, after the fact, found some other ones that are a little bit cuter in my opinion, that have like kind of this collage look of like multiple things on a page, and they have a little bit more variety than this does. So I'm gonna, you know, color more in here and try to fill it up a bit more before I order another one like it. But I think there's one that just kind of came out that was called, I want to say Me Time on Amazon, and it looked really cute. But this is still lovely to have. Oh, look, I just realized I did that just like that. Pretty similar. I did not realize that I did that. Anyway, that's 44 doodles to color. 444 doodles to color by Joyful Art Journaling. Now this one is Be Stress Free in Color. I got this for $3.99 for $4. And I got this one because the next book I'll show you is very similar. And it had mandalas, whatever you call it. And I realized that this paper is really good about not bleeding. And that's maybe one of the only books I have like that, where I can just go right up to the line and know that it won't go outside of that. And so that, for that reason, it's really fun to color in. This is the first thing I used with my color catalog. And I picked a color palette. I could even show you real quick. Okay, I picked 202 right here, and I picked out these colors, my hoo-hoo markers, and I colored this, and I thought it turned out really cool. And it was when I realized that I love coloring in mandalas, because you can just get your little color palette. I have a little bin, I put them in, and then I don't have to, I can put my hoo-hoo markers away and just keep those 6 or 5 colors out and color it in, and it doesn't have to be perfect. There's no pressure, like, and something about it puts me to sleep. Something about the pattern and the way it's almost like hypnotizing. And then, yeah, it's just, it turns out really beautiful, and it's low pressure, and it puts you to sleep. And it's just, I can see why people like it and why it's so stress relieving. So I am really excited to hopefully soon. I'm actually my family's really big on doing Christmas lists. I had a mandala book on my Christmas list off Amazon that I'm hoping to get, because it's the perfect one for me to do before bed. Because other ones are also, they are, you know, help me not be stressed or stress relieving. But I get so sucked into what colors I pick and making them look perfect that sometimes I do get kind of intense about it. But this really, truly relaxes me for bed. Oh, here's one that actually my sister-in-law did this one. When we were on a trip, I gave her a color palette, or she picked a color palette. I gave her the markers, and then she did this one. Some of the artwork in this, it's quite random, I have to say. But the paper doesn't bleed super bad. This is a mandala. Me and my husband laugh about it because I chose a color palette that just did not work for this. So anyway, I did this color palette here, 104. Same thing, got these markers and did it. And I liked the look of this, but then putting that out on here wasn't my best move. So there's that one. These are all kind of very similar. So this is Be Stress Free in color, and then this is also Be Stress Free in color. I got this one before I got this. I'm not sure which came first, the chicken or the egg, but this one I got from Ollie's, this one I got from Barnes & Noble. But this is the same type of artwork. This is the first page I did where I realized, oh my gosh, this doesn't bleed. And this was really fun because I just picked up colors and didn't test them. And I was at my grandmother's at the time I did it, and I could talk and hear everyone in the room and not like really focus on this, and it was fun to do. That's when my husband, I just picked a random color palette for him, and the same time his sister was drawing or coloring just last month. And it was $2.95 in color catalog. I said, we were watching Harry Potter, and we ordered Domino's to get delivered, and I was coloring, and I asked his sister if she wanted to because she liked to look at my supplies and stuff. And then my husband made a crack about it, like coloring, and I was like, wait, do you want to? And I said that I would love that. And anyway, he did it for me. So he didn't finish, but it was just the best, and he did a really good job of staying in the lines. Anyway, I cherish that picture. Unfinished or not, I love that he did that for me. All right, and then this is the last coloring book. I do have a couple of like extra things, books that I wanted to show, but this is the last coloring book. It's the Other Color Ya book. So I guess we started with theirs and ended with it. I got this one as well on Amazon UK. The reason I got this is because it reminds me of Joanna Basford's Tiny Victories, I think it's called. I always want to say like Small Treasures, but I think it's Tiny Victories. But it has like, if you've seen those books, I'm sure you have, because they're so popular, but it has these kind of small drawings that are like, I don't know, it's a very unique style of art. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like small, intricate, cute designs, and it's multiple on the page, kind of like that doodle book that I have, except they're like miniature little images that are a little bit more detailed. But her book is double-sided, and so I wanted one that was, you know, not. And so I saw someone show this, and I was like, that's exactly what I need, because it's that kind of artwork, but it is obviously not double-sided. And in fact, it's on that paper that's from the UK that is thick, the thickest paper that I have. And again, I like artwork like this because it's small and you can do it, you know, in one sitting, and it's just very satisfying, and you feel really accomplished. This book has quite a variety of like, what's the term? This is a good example. The design, like the style is the word I'm looking for. This is much bigger spaces, not intricate. And so I don't know if it's different artists. The paper is so thick, it makes me feel like I'm skipping a page. And then there's seasonal within this book as well. These are cute little houses. They had a cat page, this is a dog page. This is kind of nautical, like beach themed. I love this picture. It's one of my favorites in here. I do like these spiral ones that you just flip over and then you don't, you know, have to worry about bending them back. Animals. I did one Christmas one in the back here. These are cute. These beetles. Still not quite as cute as Joanna Basford's book. This is one of my favorite pages. I love mountains. That's kind of me and my husband's thing. I love mountains. But because I'll take it. Like this is, you know, not double-sided, so I'll take it. But I do still love her book and her artwork. This is Halloween. Here's the little Christmas. Like I said, I love snow globes, so I really felt drawn to this one. Because because I collected them as a little girl. They all busted in the attic, unfortunately, in the cold. But you can also see this bleeds way less than other books. Still put a bleed sheet down, but this paper is just amazing. And then let me briefly show you. I wanted to quickly run through these. I believe I ran through them in my color catalog video, but I wanted to show them here as well so that all of my coloring books, even informational ones, were all in one spot. So this is Color Workshop by Rachel Wernert. This one I got secondhand online. And I mentioned this in my color catalog book, or excuse me, my color catalog video, but this one was not, it's informational, but it's not the one I gravitate towards, because it is, as you can see, just, it's more like kind of a textbook, like an informational textbook, but I kind of like, and it has practice in the back, I like the look of, for instance, Let's Get Creative with Markers by Angela Van Dam. I like this because it's a little bit more, it's artsy, and it makes me feel more inspired by flipping through it. So that was a very quick flip through, but yeah, it's got all kinds of information. It's chocked full. And then in the back, it's got, you know, these examples of different techniques that you can practice with. I love this book. I love it, love it, love it. Creative Workbook for Coloring, Shading, Blending, and Beyond. And then Design Originals New Guide to Coloring. This one I want to say is newer, I think. Let's see here. 2017. But it is by Design Originals. And I think it's multiple different artists. But again, this one is thicker than the other two. It has even more information, and it has that same type of kind of artsy feel that makes me feel really motivated. And it's got different things you can use in the back here. And then a bunch of contributing artists, including the one that helped with the marker, the one that wrote the marker video. So this one, if I had to recommend one informational flip through book, it would be this one. I love it. And then lastly, as if you're watching this video, you've probably seen my color catalog video. I've gotten so much feedback on that and comments, and I love looking at it every other day. I go on there and check and see if there's been any new comments, and I love seeing what people have to say and how much it seems to have helped people. And so this is the color catalog companion for the Ohuhu markers, the brush markers. So this one is that. I don't know what I was about to say. This one is the Volume 1 color catalog, and I flipped through these more in detail in that video. But just to show, I have these, and I use them to pick out a color palette. Not just for coloring, but for my house, when I'm decorating, or outfits I'll look at on my phone. Sometimes I'll look at it digitally. But I just really like having the physical copy of these. And I love, you know, someone commented that it would be much cheaper to get the color cubes, and that's supporting Sarah Renee Clark. And so if that works best for you, then I definitely recommend, of course, ordering those. I'm sure they're really amazing quality. But for me personally, I love coffee table books and flipping through books. I think these are beautiful, and I also think that they're easier to travel with if you're going to be going somewhere. A cube is a little bit trickier unless you just like want to take the specific card you're coloring. But yeah, I just really liked having this, and there's just something about a book, in my opinion, that I just love. But I think the system she has in place is genius. I think that this is just like a niche thing that I really wanted. So that is the color catalog books I have. And that is actually everything that I have book-wise. Unless I'm forgetting something, that is everything. This is Editing Ray. I just realized in filming this that I didn't finish out the video. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, I hope that you really enjoyed it, and that, like I said in the beginning, that it gave you some inspiration either to draw in the coloring books that you already have, or to order some new ones that you maybe hadn't seen before. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to posting more, and I will see you next time.